We got to finish up this two-parter of filler,
Woo!
It's what everyone's been looking forward to.
All of this matters.
Yeah, it sure does.
Hee hee.
Oh, boy. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Jared Now Watch Inuyasha. This is episode 96. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Owl and Lady
Hello.
We are discussing Season 4, Episode 13, or Episode 95, entitled The Sacred Jewel Maker Part 2.
Part duh.
Part 2.
Duh.
Because this really needed a second part.
Yep. Because wow, we have to figure out who the baddie is who's making these things.
Who could it be?
It wasn't completely obvious from the last episode or anything.
No.
Whoa.
Yeah, Kagome is separated from everyone. It's It's a real mystery how this happened. Moroku, Songo, and Shippo and Kirara are just by themselves. They're like, yeah, we had to dig Shippo out of the mud.
He was hard to find.
Inuyasha went off on his own to find Kagome.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here just hanging out for a little bit. Kagome walks around this little castle she's been kidnapped in. She finds Izumo there, and he's like, oh, I guess you've been kidnapped as well. A very strange coincidence.
Wow. He's like, I've been forced to work with them.
Yes, forced.
Yep.
She finds the frog dude just like licking a soul bubble. Like a weirdo.
Like a freak.
Yeah.
Pervert.
Inuyasha and the gang are just fighting demons upon demons upon demons, and that's just what they're doing for the first half of this episode.
I do like that Moroku just somehow pulls out a thermos and takes a drink of water.
Yeah.
And I was like, where did he get that? Where does he keep it?
In his monk pocket.
Monk pocket. I'm
It's
sure
in the
he
wind
does
tunnel.
I'm sure he does have monk pockets, but like he doesn't ever show his monk pockets, so.
Look,
And
you never
that's
ask a monk to show his monk pocket.
No, you're right. And it's got to be a big one to fit a whole thermos in it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Kagome and Izumo are just wandering around. Izumo shows off his like workshop. He's like, yeah, I gotta work with these demons. It's a real shame. And Kagome's like, you could not. He's like, nope, gotta do it.
No, gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
Whoa.
She roams around more and ends up in this like study room where Izumo presumably is telling her about the origins of the sacred jewel.
In the Tamas.
Yeah, and then she just like goes over to him and he slumps over and it's a spooky corpse.
It's a dead guy.
Whoa.
Oh no.
Also, when they were talking about the Tamas, they just put "speaking in Japanese" as the subtitle.
Japanese.
It's like, we're not even gonna bother.
We're not even gonna try on this, even though last week they totally did it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
She finds Izumo out hanging out with some birds, and he's like, "Oh, look at me! The birds like me, but when it gets night, they don't like me." And she's like, "Oh, it's because the birds hate night, right?" And like, no, definitely not that. And then it turns out he turns into a big bull demon. Ooh.
It's the guy from last week.
It is. He's like,
Whoa.
I'm actually Izumo was my father. I am Gyo. I am a half demon. Here's why I gotta get the sacred jewel, because I want to become human again.
And the Kagome's like,
full.
why would you do this? And he's like, because I want to become a full human. I just explained this.
Let me say it again, just to
Just to clarify for you. Also, she just keeps calling him Izumo, even though he told her straight up, like, that's my dad's name.
She's like, the other one's too hard to say.
And she's like, yeah, you're not. How do you pronounce it? Gyo?
Yo, sure.
Yo? You're not
Yo.
that because that's the bull. And it's like, no, that's actually just his name.
Yep.
Okay.
He explains that, he needs Kagome's pure soul for the sacred jewel shard, but also he needs the four souls of Inuyasha because he has courage, Moroku has knowledge, Songo has love, and Shippo has friendship, and all that together will create the sacred jewel.
Songo's love is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously she has the love of her brother and, like, she has the crush on Moroku, but, like, that hasn't been, like, official yet, I guess. So, like, they're beating around the bush on that situation.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's love. Okay.
So Kagome basically is like, I will fight you. But she has nothing to fight with. And then Moroku and Sango and Shippo show up, and they're like, hey, we're coming to save you. And then she's like, no, get out of here. And then they get trapped in frog bubbles because they were just there.
There. Yep. But it does give Kagome a bow and arrow.
She gets on Kirara and is like, I got the bow and arrow. Gyo just like sends off his big crows after her, and she shoots one of them, and that's like becomes a signal flare for Inuyasha to be like, oh, that's Kagome.
She's that way.
I'm going to go this way.
Oh yeah, he's still been fighting all these guys, and also the big worm man.
Yes. She gets knocked down from Kirara, and then Inuyasha shows up to save the day.
Woo. They have arguments
here
about being half demon.
Mm-hmm. Inuyasha defeats a bunch of other demons, and then he defeats the worm man.
Orochidayu.
Yeah. And then Gyuo is like, now you all will work
Listen
under
to
me.
me.
They're like, oh, you're a half demon. We don't want to do that. And then he
Forget
bonks
ye.
the monkey. And he's like, I'm in charge now.
Mutiny.
And he sends the demons after Inuyasha. And Inuyasha's like, you're dead. And then they fight. Inuyasha and Gyuo. They do the thing.
And then Gyuo like swallows all the sacred jewel fakes and becomes big.
He takes his steroids and he gets a little bigger and
Good
redder.
Yep.
You know, normal things.
He's trying to squish Inuyasha into the ground.
He is trying to squish Inuyasha into the ground. And Inuyasha's like, he's like, well, you would know how it's like to be a half demon, right? You know, like being looked down upon and everything. And Inuyasha's like, dude, I don't care about any of that. So, like, what are you talking about?
Which
He's
is
like,
not true, but, you know.
And he's like, no, I can't believe you don't agree with me. And then the sun comes up because it was the quickest night in terms of in history. It's been like the first day of summer. And he's like, no, the sun, go away. I haven't got the sacred jewel yet.
No.
And then he transforms back kind of into a human, except his bottom parts because they didn't want to show his butt.
Yeah. Because he threw away his clothes earlier.
He did.
And he's like, am I going to die a human? Blech.
Yep, that's it. And then the villagers are all safe because they free them, and they're like, "Oh, bye, thanks for everything." And you just see a shot of them, the gang walking away. That's the end of the episode.
No, Kagome tries to reach out to some birds. And
Oh,
the birds
right,
like,
she reaches out to
F
some
you,
birds,
man.
and they're like, "Blah!"
Get out of here.
And she's like, "Oh, yeah." And that's how they end. You right.
Not a Disney princess. Get out of here. Go.
Here's some notes for this episode. This episode preview was narrated by Kagome and the Demon. Great.
Neat. Which demon?
I guess Gyo.
Oh, okay.
Gamajiro, the toad demon who traps the people in his egg sacs, is identical in appearance to the Tsukumo no Gama, the toad demon that appeared in episode 8, which we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, Orochidayo is identical to the false water god that appears in episode 27.
They're palette swaps.
The two crow demons appear in this episode. They are identical to the Shibugarasu, the crow demon that appeared in episode 2. They even transformed the same way that Shibugarasu did, which I thought that was a very similar thing, and the way it died was also similar. So
Yep.
And then the second Inuyasha movie, The Castle Beyond the Looking Glass, was aired between this episode and 96. So that's what we'll be watching next week. You sent me some trivia about Izumo.
I did.
That I'll also read here because this is the only time we're ever going to talk about him.
Yep, he's never gonna be shown again.
Nope. Izumo is the only half-demon born to a human father and a demon mother in the series.
I guess that makes sense.
He is also the only known half-demon who not only by his demonic parent has special powers, but also by his human parent, the intelligence and the spiritual purity. I guess that's sure.
Is intelligence a special power?
That's my special power.
Okay.
Unlike the other half-demons in Inuyasha, Jininji, and Shiori, little is known about the parents of Izumo because he's a filler dude.
It's a filler episode.
Despite the common discrimination against half-demons, Orochidayo seemed to generally like Izumo Gyo and treat him with respect rather than grudging tolerance. Whether this was due to their mutually beneficial agreement or because he was impressed by the other's cunning is unclear. Izumo Gyo is the archetypal Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Bulls, oxen, and cows are often shown in fiction as stupid and dumb, but this stereotype does not apply to Izumo. He is pretty clever.
it's written.
When he first introduces himself to the others, Izumo identifies as a Guji-4. Guess that's how you say that.
Yeah.
From a long line of those, which Kagome explains means that they're shine keepers, like her grandpa.
Shine creepers.
I'm a shine creeper.
I mean, kind of fits for this guy. Like I said, he's the kind of dude that like is in grad school and talks all the time, but doesn't actually say anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's him. So we got through the two-parter filler arc.
We did.
Woo!
Yeah, so next time we will be watching the second Inuyasha movie, The Castle Beyond the Looking Glass.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is when it was released
Mm-hmm.
in Japan on December 21st, 2002.
Wow.
So yeah, we'll talk about all of that next week. But for now, if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts, like Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Ann Ladium, go to annladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can follow us on Blue Sky at seasonalanimecheckup.com. And you can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com.
Mm-hmm.
So join us next week as we discuss a movie.
A feature film.